I let my cousin use my name to get a job. She promised, just until I'm on my feet. A month later, I got a call from HR. She'd been fired for theft. When I asked her why, she said, "You'll survive." I needed it more. My aunt blamed me. "You should have known better," she said. I lost my own job over it. But 6 months later, I was rehired in management. And the first application I saw on my desk was hers. I scheduled the interview, and I let her walk into the room. I never thought I'd be the kind of person who says they got screwed over by their own family, but here I am. I'm not gonna waste your time with fluff. Here's what happened. I'm from Milwaukee. Grew up in the South Side. Not the best part, not the worst. Just regular people trying to get by. I worked hard to get to where I was, 8 years at a logistics company. Not a fancy job, but I showed up every day, I didn't slack, and people knew they could count on me. Started as a mailroom runner when I was 20. Worked my way up to team lead in the warehouse. Was about to get considered for a floor supervisor spot. That's when my cousin Jasmine came back into my life. She was always a mess. We're the same age, 33, but she's lived 10 different lives already. Bartender, cashier, medical billing, dog grooming. Never held a job longer than 6 months. Always some drama. She'd been couch surfing between friends and family, and I guess she ran out of options because she ended up back with her mom, my Aunt Valerie. Now Valerie and we've never been close. She always acted like Jasmine could do no wrong. Like it was everyone else's fault her daughter couldn't hold it together. I usually kept my distance. But Jasmine? She's got a way of getting in your head. Acts real sweet when she wants something. She called me one night around 10. I should have let it go to voicemail. "Hey," she said, "I need a favor." She told me she found out my company was hiring for warehouse workers. Easy job, steady paycheck. But she had a problem. She failed a background check at her last job. "Nothing serious," she said, "just some misunderstanding over inventory." Sounded shady to me. "I just need to get in the door," she said. "I'll use your name and ID to apply. Once I get through probation, I'll switch it to mine. Just a temp thing." I laughed. "That's not how it works. I'm serious. I'm desperate, and this is a good opportunity. I won't mess it up." I said no. She kept calling. Texted. My aunt called too. They both said it would be harmless. Said I could change it back after she got hired. That it wouldn't affect me. I should have kept saying no. But I was tired. Work had been killing me. I was in the middle of a bad breakup, and I guess a part of me felt sorry for her. So I said yes. Stupid. She used my name. My actual name. Not just for the application, on the ID badge, on the timesheets, even on the security logs. And the craziest part? She got in. She actually showed up on time. Worked hard the first week. I thought maybe, just maybe, this wouldn't blow up in my face. Then I stopped hearing from her. Weeks went by. I asked around, "Hey, you seen the new girl, Jasmine?" But no one connected the dots. She was using my name. I didn't tell anyone. That was the deal. Then one Monday morning, I got called into HR. 2 guys were waiting. The head of HR and a security manager. They looked real serious. "Have a seat," the HR guy said. "We've got a problem." They showed me security footage. A woman, tall, curly hair, wearing my name tag, was caught on camera sliding boxes of smartwatches into a bag. Looking straight at the camera like she didn't care. Same woman was clocking out 2 hours early, then forging her hours. I said, "That's not me." They said, "It's your name. It's your ID." I told them everything. I admitted I let her use my name, that I knew it was a mistake, that it was family, and I just didn't want to see her homeless. They didn't care. "Company policy is 0 tolerance, the HR guy said. You let someone impersonate you on company property. That's a firing offense. They didn't even let me clean out my locker. I went straight to Jasmine's place. She answered the door like she didn't even know what happened. You got fired, she said, raising an eyebrow. Well, you'll survive. I needed it more. That was it. No apology. No explanation. I was shaking. I told her she ruined my life. She just rolled her eyes. You're overreacting. The next day, my aunt called me. Not to say sorry. Not to check if I was okay. She actually blamed me. You knew she was desperate, she said. You shouldn't have let her use your name if you weren't going to take responsibility. I hung up on her. I went from having a steady job and decent savings to applying at temp agencies. I worked one-off gigs loading docks, moving companies, whatever paid cash. Couldn't get anything permanent. My name was blacklisted in our industry. Word travels fast in Milwaukee, especially about theft. Then after about 3 months, I got a call from a guy named Darren, old coworker from my first year at the company. He'd moved up, now a manager at a competitor. He vouched for me, got me an interview. I told him the truth, and he still gave me a shot. I started at the bottom again. New warehouse, new faces. I kept my head down, worked overtime, stayed late, trained new hires without being asked. In 4 months, I got promoted. 2 months later, I was offered a management spot. I took it. It felt good to sit in that office. Plain desk. My nameplate. Small window that looked out over the floor. I didn't decorate it or bring in pictures. Just kept it clean. Professional. First Monday in that office, I got a folder on my desk. New applications. Part of my job now is reviewing them. I flipped through the first few. Then I saw it. Jasmine Wilkes. Same name. Same phone number. Same fake confidence in the cover letter. I stared at it for a long time. Then I circled it. Scheduled. Thursday. 4:30 p.m. Last slot of the day. She walked in like she didn't have a care in the world. Then she saw me. I didn't smile. Didn't say a word. Just looked her dead in the eyes and said, "Sit down." Her smile dropped. Her voice was shaky. You work here? I manage this warehouse, I said. Let's begin. She sat down real slow, like maybe she thought she could still walk away if she hadn't touched the chair yet. Why did you apply here? I asked. I didn't know you worked here, she said quick, like that would make a difference. That's not what I asked. She looked at the wall, then back at me. I need a job. You had a job. You used my name. You got me fired. You didn't even say sorry. I told you, she said, folding her arms. I needed it more. I leaned back in my chair. I wanted to shout. I wanted to slam my fist down. But instead, I just stared at her. You lied. You stole. And you left me out to dry. Now you want a fresh start. Here. In my building. She opened her mouth like she had something to say. Nothing came out. I picked up her application again. You know the background check we do here is thorough, right? She blinked. You put down you've never been let go for misconduct, I said. You left off your last 3 jobs. And you said you've never worked in this industry. That's 3 lies. I didn't think no, I cut her off. You didn't. She looked down at her hands. I didn't know you'd be here. That's your only regret, isn't it? She looked up at me, and I saw something flash in her eyes. Anger, maybe. Embarrassment. But no guilt. Not really. You got your promotion, she said. So, what's the big deal now? That set something off in me. You think this came easy? I said. You think I just fell into this chair? I worked for it. I bled for it. And you? I stopped myself. I stood up and walked to the door. Closed it. Turned back to face her. You're not getting this job. Not here. Not anywhere I can reach. She stood too, all attitude again. That's petty. No, I said. That's justice. She stared at me for a long second. You're gonna regret this. I walked back to my desk. You already did. She stormed out. But it didn't end there. 2 days later, Darren, my friend who helped me get this job, called. Hey, he said, I got a weird call from someone claiming you blacklisted her from the hiring pool. I told him everything. Again. And he backed me up. Again. Then I found out she tried to file a complaint. Said I discriminated against her. That I abused my position. HR did a review. I had to sit through meetings, show emails, give timelines. Took 3 weeks. But the truth held. They cleared me. And they flagged her in the system permanently. I thought it was over. Until I got a message on Facebook from a mutual cousin. Someone I hadn't talked to in years. You know Jasmine's living out of her car, right? I didn't answer. Then I got a call from my aunt. Same voice. Same guilt trip. She's family, she said. She made mistakes, but she's still blood. She's your daughter, I said. Not my problem. She's gonna lose everything, my aunt said. She lost me a long time ago, I said. And I hung up. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. Not because I felt bad, but because I realized something. This wasn't the end. She wasn't done trying. And I wasn't done making sure she never hurt anyone else the way she hurt me. 3 weeks went by. Things at work settled down. I figured Jasmine would finally crawl off somewhere and leave me alone. But then something weird started happening. Someone kept calling the front desk and hanging up. Always around 10 a.m. Always with a blocked number. One of the admin assistants mentioned it to me in passing, said it was probably just spam. But I had a feeling. Then the reviews started. First one showed up on Glassdoor. Toxic environment. Management lies. Don't trust anyone, especially the warehouse supervisor. Total snake. No name. No details. But I knew exactly who it was. I reported it to corporate. They flagged it, but there wasn't much they could do. 2 more popped up a week later. Different usernames. Same tone. Clearly personal. Then it got worse. One of our new hires, a young guy named Mikey, came to me and said someone was messaging him on Instagram, warning him about me. They said you ruined someone's life, he told me. That you use your position to get back at people. I asked if he still had the messages. He did. The account name? @TrueHurts414. I checked the profile. No photo. No posts. But it was following 5 people from my job. I didn't have proof it was Jasmine, but come on. Who else had that much hate? I could have gone to HR again. But something told me she wanted that. She wanted me rattled, reacting. So I stayed quiet. Until she crossed a line. One Monday morning, I came into work and my car had been keyed. Deep scratches down both sides. Liar carved into the driver's door. I filed a police report, got the security footage. Grainy, but clear enough to see the build and hair. She'd worn a hoodie and mask, but the way she moved, I knew it was her. I didn't go to her. I didn't call my aunt. I didn't post anything online. I went to my lawyer. See, after I lost my job the first time, I looked into my rights. I had emails and texts from Jasmine admitting she used my name. And now, with this harassment, I had enough to start something real. I filed for a restraining order. Served it through the courts. She was barred from coming near my work, my home, or contacting anyone I worked with. And when she broke it 2 weeks later, by showing up at the warehouse parking lot and screaming my name, she got arrested. The cops found her sitting in her car, sobbing, telling them he ruined everything. I watched from the upstairs window as they led her away. I didn't smile. I didn't feel proud. But I felt done. Or so I thought. Because 3 days later, my aunt showed up at my door. I heard the doorbell around 7:30 that evening. I just sat down with a plate of leftovers, finally enjoying a quiet night. I opened the door. And there was my Aunt Valerie. No warning. No call ahead. Just her, standing on my porch like nothing had happened. I didn't invite her in. "You've made your point," she said before I could say a word. "What are you doing here?" "She's in jail," she said. "You really want your own cousin sitting in a cell with addicts and criminals? She broke the law. She's sick," she said. "Depressed. Broke. She needs help." She needed help a year ago. I gave it. She lit it on fire. I raised her alone, my aunt snapped. I did my best. You think this is easy for me? Then maybe stop blaming everyone else, I said. Especially me. She looked past me, like she might try to step inside. I'm not here to fight, she said. I'm here because you're the only one who can stop this. I already did stop it. She kept coming back. She took a deep breath. If you drop the charges, stop. I said it loud enough that she flinched. She stole my name. She cost me my job. She made me go through hell. Then she stalked me, harassed my coworkers, keyed my car. And you sat there blaming me like I caused it. She started to speak, but I cut her off again. I'm not doing this. Not again. I stepped back and shut the door in her face. She stood there for another minute, then walked away. A week later, Jasmine was out on bail. She didn't contact me directly, but I heard through a cousin that she was planning to sue me for defamation. I wasn't scared. Because by then, I'd already hired a private investigator. I wanted everything: her job history, her police reports, every piece of dirt she tried to bury. And what he found made my stomach turn. She'd done this before. 2 years ago in Minneapolis. Used her ex-boyfriend's name to land a warehouse job. Got caught stealing electronics and vanished before they could press charges. Another time in Indiana, same move. Fake name, theft, fired. No charges, but always the same pattern. I put the whole report together. Every job, every lie, every warning sign. I sent it to the DA. Quietly, without ceremony. Because this wasn't just about revenge anymore. This was about making sure she never got the chance to wreck someone else's life the way she wrecked mine. The district attorney took the file seriously. A month after I sent it in, I got a call. They were reopening Jasmine's case, and this time they were adding charges. Identity theft, workplace fraud, harassment, and violation of a protective order. All of it backed up by what I'd collected. I didn't celebrate. Not then. Court was 3 months out. I was called to testify. I sat in the hallway outside the courtroom, wearing my best suit, hands clenched so tight they ached. I didn't want to see her. But I needed to. She walked in wearing county orange, her wrists cuffed in front of her. Eyes sunken, hair unwashed. She looked right at me. No words, no anger. Just that dead stare. My turn came. I told the whole story, start to finish. I brought the texts, the emails, the reports. They showed the security footage of her keying my car. Read out her fake reviews. And then the private investigator's findings. Job after job. Scam after scam. Her public defender tried to paint it like a family dispute gone too far. That she was desperate and misguided. But the judge didn't buy it. She got sentenced to 2 years in state prison with mandatory mental health evaluation and a 5-year no-contact order after release. No probation. No second chances. I thought I'd feel relief. Instead, I felt empty. 2 years. That was it. All the hell she put me through. All the time I lost. But as I walked out of that courthouse, I remembered what she said the day she got me fired. You'll survive. I needed it more. Well, I did survive. And I kept going. She gambled everything on a lie and lost. I went home that day, stood in my tiny backyard, and watched the snow start to fall. It was quiet. Still. I didn't cry. I didn't cheer. I just stood there, letting it sink in. I was free. Not because she said sorry. Not because she finally understood what she'd done. But because I stopped letting her drag me under. I kept my job. I earned respect back. I stayed on the straight path even when it felt unfair. But yeah, I made mistakes too. I let her in. I thought helping her was the right thing. Maybe it still was, in some twisted way. Maybe hitting rock bottom was the only thing that could ever wake her up. And maybe that's the real revenge. Not watching someone burn, but watching them fall after they tried to set you on fire, and you walked away without a scratch.